Hey guys, popping on to show you how I do an upper respiratory blend um, for, asthma, COPD, bronchitis, pneumonia, and, commonly I use mullein and thyme, plantain and sage, but what I'm making is actually something that's actually can be used too as a smoking blend. So all the herbs that I'm using here you can safely smoke, and it'll get the herbs into your lungs exactly where you need them. So um, I commonly, prefer that people do teas, or tisanes is actually what they're called. Um, but if you, prefer smoking, it's an option as far as that goes. So um, like I said, mullein, I always have that on hand in a tincture form, and thyme. I've gotten a lot of people off of oxygen with those and no need for inhalers, even people that have been on them for over 30 years. So you do have options to the pharmaceuticals, especially these inhalers, because all they do is, and the steroids, they're horrible for you through time. So basically why I started this group was so people can actually have a sounding board and somewhere to go to reach out and see what their options are before you go having to run to the doctor. And I'm not saying that Western medicine doesn't have their place, but they've definitely are not being honest with us in very many different ways. And yeah, they do have their place and they have done amazing things, but they do commonly do more harm than good. So, with all the things going around, like I said, mullein and thyme are great, plantain is great, sage is great, oregano. Even if you want to do those like over a steam with your head, those are great to get the volatile oils flowing. But these herbs all pack quite a punch, and not just for respiratory, but for your liver, your kidneys, your spleen, your everything. So I'm going to just tell you what they are, and you look them up, because they are for respiratory, but they're for everything else, because you want to get everything flowing, and you want to get it out of you and all that stuff. So all these together, they pack quite a punch, and I don't have mullein, plantain, or sage in here. So actually, the one that I have the most of is actually goldenrod. And you'll see is like, how my proportions of everything. And I'm also going for flavor because you can eat, I'm going to blend this up and I'll show you as we go. But this one's goldenrod, and I'm just dumping it in there. Here's my bowl. Dumping it in. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have done it like that, but okay, let's see. And then we have hops. Another one that packs quite a punch. Oh my goodness, I have little goldenrod's fuzzies flying around. Hops. That's another really good one. Let's see, and then we have rose. Rose petals, all wild rose. I'm just throwing them all in there. Yarrow. And yarrow is amazing too for many things, but yarrow knows what your body needs, and it goes in there and fixes it. So yarrow, it's a really, really good herb. Look into it more if you haven't really worked with it. So many benefits of yarrow, and it's obviously good for upper respiratory. Chamomile, another really good one. I'm Greek, so I grew up on chamomile. How's it doing? How's it going, Chris? Thanks for joining us. But chamomile's amazing. They're all just going in there one by one. Actually, try to take the time to research these. I'll write them all down in the comments so you know what they all are. This one's chocolate mint. And this one smells amazing. Good stuff. All the mints are really good for upper respiratory as well. Lemon balm. This is really calming. It'll also help calm all your nervous system and everything like that. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for joining in. Going over my upper respiratory blend. So there's 11 ingredients I put in here. Calendula. Calendula is another one. It has so many benefits, but it's also really good for upper respiratory. Tulsi. Tulsi is another calming one all the way around. Amazing herb, Tulsi. That one's going in. It smells so good over here, guys. Thyme. I did use a little bit of thyme. And the last one is blue hyssop. And look that one up. This one is a lot of these, you know, they're not as common as the normal ones that people think about for upper respiratory. But they all pack quite the punch. So definitely try to look them up when I put them in there. So now they're all in the bowl. And all I do is simply mix them up. Okay, now I'm going to mix them up. And then I'm going to jar them up in a glass jar. So this blend, you can actually do a bunch of different things with. The possibilities are endless. But when you start mixing all these different herbs together, the safest way to do it is start with a little bit in a tea. And when I say tea, just like a 15-minute steeped tea, just to make sure that you don't have any adverse reactions. All of these herbs are pretty safe, so the chances of that happening are pretty slim, but you never know. So I always start with tea because these are really powerful. You know, this medicine is not like Western medicine. It actually, you know, when they synthesize a plant and turn it into a drug, they get a little part of the plant and all the synthetics that come with it. So, but when you're working with the plant itself, they are so powerful, guys. So you really want to be careful when you are working with herbs and work your way up. So you start with the tea when you work with any herb, whether you're doing, you know, tinctures or whatever herb you want to introduce into your body. Start with a tea, a slow steeped tea for like 15 minutes. And make sure your body doesn't have a bad reaction. The next step you could do is a 24-hour tea infusion, which when I make tea, and tea is actually not the proper name for this. If you were going to put boiling water to this, you would actually call it a tisane. A tea is actually only one plant and a couple teas that are made from that one plant, like white tea, green tea, oolong tea, not many of them. So any varieties that you see other than that plant are actually called tisane. Tisane. Tisane, I guess if you're French. So look it up. It was another, you know, word that got buried when the tea tax happened back in the day, which was really not a tax on tea. It was a tax on medicine and the destruction of herbalism and the whole medical industry. So a lot of history, a lot of bad history when it comes to herbalism if you start really going through it. And then, so, you know, I usually take a mason jar, put my blend in there, get boiling water. You always let your boiling water sit for a minute. You don't put herbs into boiling water. So once it sits for a minute, settles down, pour it into the jar, put the lid on it. You need a lid on it to keep all the oils in there. Hi, Melanie. Thanks for joining us. And then I let it steep overnight. And then in the morning, I'll strain it out and reheat it up on the stovetop or a wood stove if you have one. Never a microwave. I actually recommend you throw that microwave away if you have one because nothing good comes easy, and anything you put in there, you're ruining, plus getting heavy metals. And same for air fryers if you didn't know. They're not good for you. Get rid of them. So then you could also do a tincture with this, and you would fill up a mason jar halfway with the herbs, and then fill it up to the top with 100 proof vodka. Let it sit for 8 weeks at least. I let mine sit for 6 months, but they are done after 8 weeks. They just won't be as potent. And that's how you would do tincture with it. You could do a glycerate with it. Same concept, just glycerin instead of alcohol. I actually do vaping juices for vaporizer pens to get people away from the vapes at the store that have polypropylene glycol in them, which are horrible for you. So I do a cannabis vaporizer cartridge, and I do a mullein one, and I also do a smoking blend one. And eventually I'll break down all the herbs, and I'll have, you know, like lavender, calendula. That way people have some other options coming here other than the polypropylene glycol cartridges that they sell at the store. And then when you're smoking this, which is why I'm making this too, because I have a few people that use it actually for a smoking blend. You can smoke it just like that and roll it up or put it into a pipe. Or you can add it to tobacco. Or you could add it to cannabis. So you have different options like that. So anyway, there's also another thing you could do for respiratory. But this is a great blend. Look up everything that I got in here. Another good thing is marshmallow root. I didn't put this in here, but I do use it. But you would take, in a pint jar, you would use 1/3 portion of marshmallow root, 2/3 of water, and you shake it up, put it in your fridge overnight, and it'll thicken up a little bit. And then you would strain it out, and you would take 2 tablespoons a day of that before you go to bed. And what it will do is coat all your esophagus, all the linings throughout, you know, your entire respiratory system and everything, digestive. So marshmallow root, definitely look that up because that's a good thing to get into your system too. So hope you found that helpful. And tomorrow I'll be back on doing live to go over February's mystery box, which was Staghorn Sumac. So stay tuned, guys, and thanks for joining.